Hey everyone, how's it going? It's me, Ricky Ortega here, and today's video, I'm here to expose roaming Millennial. She made a video called Silly Republican Women, Francesca Newsbrook Response. So let me just say this, I watched this video before I'm making this video. I don't agree with everything that Francesca said, so let's just get that out of the way. But I do think that there's something she said that has validity to it. I can't even speak right now. But she said some points that could be valid. But you'll see that roaming Millennial just dismisses her points. You're about to see right now. So let's just begin the video.
Without further ado, let's get started.
Woman and Republican. Is it possible to be both? The two often feel like an oxymoron, like Boss Baby or President Trump.
Comparing Trump to a baby, truly the pinnacle of political comedy. Very original.
Not only is the GOP rife with domestic abuse and sexual assault allegations, but the party of family values has consistently voted against women and family values.
If there's actual evidence that a politician committed sexual assault or harassment or anything like that, I'm not going to defend them just because our views align politically. Sexual misconduct is wrong, no question. And some Republicans are guilty of sexual misconduct. Again, no question. But to call the entire GOP the party of sexual misconduct, I think you might be missing something.
Okay, and this is probably one of the only things that I will agree with her on this particular video. Obviously, just because you're Republican or Democrat or whatever, that doesn't make you a good or bad person. What makes you a good or bad person is what you do in life, what you do, that how you treat other people, etc. So yeah, I agree with that. No question about it. Let's continue.
First off, let me clarify that I believe in every woman's right to choose, but that doesn't mean I can't ask why. Why would an American woman who, say, believes not just in family values, but in American values like freedom and equality, vote Republican? On a superficial level, I get it. Republican women look at the other side and think, pussy hats are boxy, and Rosie the Riveter overplucked her eyebrows, and Lena Dunham is obnoxious. And they're right about all of that.
Okay, glad we can agree about Lena Dunham. I actually think that's like a huge olive branch between the two of us. However, I really hope that those other things are just attempts at comedy and not what you actually think conservative women believe. Because it's not.
Well, to be fair to Francesca here, she's simply stating that there are conservatives, and there are many conservatives that believe this kind of stuff, where they would downplay, they will look down upon liberal women or progressive anyone that's conservative, right? They would look down on progressive people, and they will say, these progressives, right? I mean, they're stupid, they're libtards, they're snowflakes, That's what they say. That's exactly what they say. It's not necessarily those examples, but again, it goes about beyond those examples. And I think that Francesca was trying to allude that many conservatives are looking down on these liberals and progressives that might have great ideas, that might have great ideas and morals, but again, they just look down upon them as if they are second cat, like if they're nothing, pretty much. So yeah, that's what I want to talk about there.
But why do women support a party that has an egregiously anti-woman stance, both legislative and personal? Like the domestic violence allegations against 2 White House staffers, and the sexual assault allegations that brought down the RNC finance chair. How could 42% of female voters support a man who bragged about grabbing women by the genitals?
Again, yes, there are Republicans out there who have done bad things, but that doesn't mean that the same thing isn't also true for Democrats. And you know what? Even if the Republican Party was chock full of sexual harassers, that still doesn't mean conservative women should just abandon their philosophical outlook. If there are bad politicians out there, you change the politicians. Not
Sorry for the filming, by the way.
Political beliefs. And regarding Trump's comments, I by no means think that he was the perfect candidate, but he was still a heck of a lot better than Hillary. I would rather a politician say the words that Trump said, as crude as they were, rather than advocate for the disastrous policies that Hillary supported. I mean, I guess I would actually they just do neither and be a regular person, but if I had to choose. Also, if we're going to be bringing up ties to sexual abuse, are we really not going to mention any of this? Really?
Okay, so let me just break down what she said. So she said a couple of things I agree with, like just because that some people in your party says certain things or does certain things, that doesn't mean that your philosophy is wrong, and I agree with that, which is why I'm a liberal. Just because a couple of liberals out there and progressives out there, they do stupid things, that doesn't mean that my stance is any wrong either. So I'm glad I could agree with her in that area. And yeah, I'm glad that she at least agrees that, and again, I also agree that not all Republicans are going to be bad people. I understand that. But their philosophy is what's bad. That's what I'm trying to get at here.
Conservative women are so defensive. They kind of feel like that girlfriend you have. You know, the one who's dating a guy you really think isn't good for her. And the more you try to point out how he seems inconsiderate and has been accused by 22 women of sexual misconduct or cheated on his wife with a porn star, the more they paint you as the bad guy.
Maybe conservative women seem so defensive because they're constantly being accused of things like internalized misogyny or stupidity or having videos like this made about them.
Maybe. Oh, and by the way, for all...
Well, again, it's not about, and again, I disagree with Francesca on this one, because obviously you can choose whatever side you want, whether you're Republican or Democrat. But here's the thing, Republican philosophy is kind of, screwed up, because it doesn't support people. It doesn't really support the general population. To me, anyways, the Republican philosophy, that it only supports the rich, and it has always been that way throughout history. So again, I could be wrong about this, but that is what I have seen, and that is what has been going on. So again, I'm not attacking the people of the Republican Party. I'm attacking the philosophy behind it. That's all I'm saying.
Those who've already all caps in the comments, what about Bill Clinton and other Democrats? You're right. They are creeps, and all presidents should be held to a much higher standard.
Oh, and speaking of the sex allegations, what about Trump? I mean, yeah, Trump, here's the thing. Many of the anti-feminists and Republicans and everybody lumped into that group, they like to point out, well, what about Bill Clinton? And let me just say this. Yeah, Bill Clinton did something horrible. Agreed. I don't like Bill Clinton, and guess what? I don't like Hillary Clinton either. I think they're both corrupt politicians. They're both corrupt people in general. I don't like them as human beings. I mean, we could agree on that. But just because I'm a progressive, that doesn't mean I have to subscribe to what every progressive or every Democrat or every liberal has done, like what Bill Clinton did or what Hillary Clinton has done in her life. So we need to stop assuming things and stop assuming what we believe, and we have to start actually asking questions and having dialogue, having healthy dialogue of what we actually believe, instead of assuming things and just being a straw man, making straw man arguments. And yeah, it's bad that it's pretty bad that Trump has been doing this too. Like, he brags about cheating on his wife. He brags about grabbing women by their genitals, and it's crazy. I mean, and yet many of these Republicans would not even take that into consideration, and it would only focus, well, what about Hillary? What about Bill Clinton? And I'm like, yeah, but Trump is not any better than Hillary or Bill Clinton. And besides, Hillary, Bill Clinton, and Donald Trump are actually good friends to this day. So again, how are they against one another if they're good friends? And many of these Republicans are actually against Hillary and want her in jail. So again, that's a little bit of contradiction.
So you're going to do that? Or are you going to keep commenting? Okay, you just left another comment. I got it. No, keep typing. Nobody's going to read it.
Glad to see you acknowledge Bill Clinton, but seriously, comparing what Trump said before the presidency to what Bill Clinton did and admitted to doing while being president, not the same. Both not good, absolutely, but I feel like there's a difference in severity that needs to be acknowledged.
Well, again, it's not the same, obviously, and I get that, but at the same time, you got to take into consideration what they both did. I'm not saying that we have to judge these two events the same way, but we should still have in consideration what Trump has done in his past, and we should at least take into consideration what he could do in the future and what kind of impact he can have as a president in the future and what policies he'll make. And I think that his actions in the past could be something that will affect his policies in the future because of what he has done in the because again, what a person has done in the past, it reflects on what he's going to do it's going to be what happens. It's going to be what's happened in the future. And again, I'm sorry I'm stuttering, but it's just me. But basically, I'm trying to say is that, yeah, what a president or what a person has done in the past, it could translate to what they're going to do later on down the road. That's what I'm trying to get at. Let's continue.
Conservative women also love to point out that unlike liberals, they don't play identity politics. So what if only 5% of Congress is made up of Republican women? It's not about gender, it's about policy.
Hey, you got one right.
And yet, every time someone asks them if Trump could possibly have a problem with women, they're suddenly okay with playing the woman card.
Does he have an insensitivity for women? Absolutely not. This is a president that's hired women at record rates. He puts strong, very outspoken women in very powerful positions.
Elevated me to the top level of his campaign because he respects women.
Yes, he doesn't hate women, he hires them. Also known as the I have a black friend of sexism.
Acknowledging that Trump does hire women in response to allegations that he hates women is not identity politics. It's a fact. Identity politics is women should vote for Hillary Clinton. She's also a woman and she understands what us women need. It is not. I don't think Trump hates women. I mean, I'm a woman and he hired me. I don't think he would give me a job if he hated me. Not the same thing.
Okay, and I agree with her on part of what she said. So I agree that, yeah, identity politics is not what Francesca said. I agree. But the second part, the second part I want to say is that just because Trump has hired women, that doesn't mean that he's great to women either. I mean, yeah. Again, you have to acknowledge that part. Francesca does have a point in what she said, that just because Trump has hired women in the past doesn't mean that he's great to women. I mean, why would he be openly against women? So that way he'll lose votes. I mean, he could, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. People are not going to be openly against things in certain things, obviously. So obviously, maybe he's against women behind closed doors. I don't know. But again, that's what you have to target. That's what you have to say. I think Francesca had a good point in that area.
Beyond representation and who grabbed whom, Republican women will say that they're Republicans because theirs is the party that helps them succeed. Okay, conservative women want economic opportunity, to make money and keep it. And they believe their party is the one to get them there.
Oh, you're doing pretty good. Dare I get excited?
But if you look at their policies, Republicans actually vote against women's economic opportunities time and time again. Just look at pay equity, Medicaid, and maternity leave.
Nope. Spoke too soon.
First, pay equity. The Republican-controlled Senate voted against paycheck fairness 3 times. They've blocked measures to make it easier for employees to seek fairness and to ensure employers wouldn't retaliate. In 2014, paycheck fairness didn't get a single Republican vote.
Okay, now watch this. She's going to try to make fun of what she was arguing without actually giving proof to what she believes, to give a negation to what she believes. What I mean by this is that she makes fun of what Francesca said because Francesca said that women are probably not paid equally in work, even though the law says that you should. And Roaming Millennial says this.
It has been illegal to pay men more than women since the 60s.
Again, yeah, it's been illegal to pay women less than men since the 60s. That's completely true. But that doesn't mean that men can pay other men, under the table. And, they could pay more than women in some ways. I mean, I'm just saying, and also if you wanna actually refute her argument, don't just clap and say that it's by the law that women are paid equal to men. Give proof to why your reasoning is better than her reasoning. Continue.
Then there are cuts to Medicaid, the federal program that helps low-income families access health care. The majority of people on Medicaid are women. Also on their budget wish list, or poor death wish, is cutting food stamp programs and Section 8 housing. And what do you know? Women happen to be twice as likely to be on food stamps at some point in their lives. And 3/4 of Section 8 homes are households led by women.
This part of the video is where Newsbrook really shines and shows us all that they have absolutely no clue what conservative women think or want. How can you say you're for women's empowerment if you don't support welfare programs? Women are on welfare. That is how they sound to me when they say what they just said. That is how dumb that argument is. I'm not saying that supporting welfare is dumb, even though I don't support it, but that reasoning that if you want to empower women, you have to support welfare, that's just that. Welfare, government entitlements, social safety nets, those are all funded by taxpayer money. And conservatives, right-wingers, Republicans believe that the lower taxes are, the more economic freedoms people have to grow their opportunities and make their businesses successful. Therefore, from a conservative standpoint at least, not saying you have to agree with this, just explaining the perspective here, cutting welfare spending in order to sustain a lower tax rate does make sense to empower women economically. If women and people in general pay less in taxes, it leaves them more room to explore their own entrepreneurship, or heck, just keep their hard-earned money. And with business owners having less financial burdens placed on them by the government, it also frees them up to hire more staff, and therefore lifting women and, again, people in general out of poverty by giving them jobs. People like Ann Coulter and Michelle Malkin talk about this kind of stuff all the time. The world in the mind of a conservative woman. I'm shocked you haven't heard it yet.
Okay, so let me just summarize what she just said. So the first part she said was that that welfare and supporting women's empowerment are incompatible and they're oxymoronic in her eyes, right? But I don't think it is oxymoronic to say that we support welfare and support women. I think we can support women and support welfare or healthcare for all, because that's something that I support. And I think that giving healthcare for all actually it gives more people an opportunity to live life, to give more opportunity to be able to study, to be able to go to school, to be able to have a good house, to be able to at least function in society in dignity without having to live under poverty. And that's the main argument I have, is that, again, healthcare for all in other countries, other developed countries, has actually worked pretty well for the other countries, including, in Europe and everything like that. So again, I just don't see why, and here's the thing, many people would point to Venezuela and everything like that, but not point to other developed countries that actually has these systems in place, and are working pretty well. So that's where the hypocrisy comes in from the right. They point to Venezuela, but they don't point to the other good countries that have help and that have social safety nets and everything like that. And look how good they're doing. And yet the greatest country in the world, quote unquote, United States, can't get those things. And I don't know why. So that just bothers me when people say stuff like this, that we can't have welfare and we can't have free college and everything like that, because we can have that. The problem is we just don't want to. In terms of and I mean the government of the United States doesn't want that. That's just a fact. And I find it so freaking stupid that she wants to say that the Republican values like equal opportunity, but how does it do that? I mean, for most of American history, Republicans, when they were presidents, for many times when they were presidents, they go under recession or a Great Depression. I mean, look at the Great Depression in 1928. Look at the Great Recession in 2008 at the end of Bush's election, again a Republican. And yeah, again, many Republicans' philosophy, and I'm not saying them as a person, I'm just saying their philosophy is very flawed, in that they think that they're giving women more opportunities by not giving them welfare, but they actually are giving them less opportunities, because again, they're making they're making women's life harder and forcing women to get more jobs, or to somehow magically, it just makes women's life harder than if you actually had these social safety nets in place to make sure that they don't die in the streets or something like that. Sorry for the rant. I just wanted to say that.
Finally, paid family leave. You'd think that the party of family values would want to do everything in their power to make sure women can become mothers and be able to take care of their babies. And what do you know? Marco Rubio is helping fulfill a Trump campaign promise to give you family leave by borrowing out of your Social Security. Delaying retirement to spend time with your children, all while the GOP makes it harder and harder to get birth control, is a recipe for misery.
I love how progressives, and by love I mean hate, try to paint things as if you don't want something legally mandated by the government, that means you don't support it and therefore hate it. So let me get this straight. You say you support family leave, but you think it should be up to individual companies to implement their own programs for their employees, or that any federal program be balanced against an individual's retirement fund. Because A, parents should be responsible in this situation, and B, you don't want to encourage people to have kids they can afford later on, and C, you don't want to contribute to the already enormous debt, which are problems you see with government-funded universal family leave. So essentially what you're saying is that you don't support paid family leave.
So as a woman, how can it possibly make sense to vote for a party that makes it harder for you?
Well, again, I don't think what she said was wrong in that instance, because again, you didn't really refute what she said. You just kind of said that she supports family leave and she doesn't, and I don't understand, because for me anyways, I believe that Republicans do make it harder for women to be able to have a kid and have a good life, and everything like that. And that's just all I'm going to say on that. And I'm going to put links in the description below to some evidence proving that I'm right about this. So let's continue.
You to get fair pay and harder to raise, feed, and get health care and housing for your family.
Wow, when you put it that way, it's almost as if conservatives are basing their policies off the belief that parenthood should be a two-person job.
Could it be that these women buy into the...
But parenting doesn't have to be always a two-person job, and I love that subtle thing where parenting is a two-person job and that only two parents can succeed in raising their kid. And I'm like, my mom raised me for most of my life being single, and I turned out fine. I may not be perfect, I may not be the best person speaking out there, and I'm not the smartest person ever, but I'm fine for the most part. And I don't think that that she raised me bad. She raised me with being how to be a good person, how to be respectful to other people, etc. So I don't think that being a single parent is anything bad. In fact, we should empower parents that are single to raise their kids in a very loving and caring environment. That's all I'm saying.
The Republican, small government, trickle-down economic ideology because they've had it good. They rail about handouts, but they've had things handed to them. They talk about entitlements, but what about the entitlement it takes to be a woman who inherited all her wealth from a guy who inherited all his wealth and turn around and write a book called Women Who Work? More like women who say, "Daddy, please."
I have to agree with her on this one too. Again, that's true. And look at what roaming millennial does.
Right, because Democrat women are not privileged or entitled in any way, shape, or form. Each and every single one of them is down to earth.
Again, she wasn't talking about Democrats. She was just talking about certain people having certain advantages. And yeah, Democrats, obviously, there's establishment Democrats that are corrupt as well. I'm not going to dispute that. But that just raises the question. There are people out there that get the benefit of having a rich parent and everything like that, and having a rich family. So, it's kind of an unfair system when you think about it. Because again, certain people can't get these opportunities because they just so happens to not be in that situation. Like Trump was. And here's the thing. Trump was raised in a very, very rich family, very, billionaire family or whatever, very rich family, and he had the luxury and privilege of just getting things handed to him spoon-fed, right? And he got bankrupt 6 times in his life. Think about that. again, is it because he's a great businessman, or is it because he's a lucky person that just so happens to be born in a rich family? I'll let you decide on that one.
Well, frankly, I've had enough of this video, so we're gonna cut things off here, but let me know what
And look at that, she didn't even respond to what she said fully. So that's a very interesting video, I have to say. So yeah, with that being said, I hope you liked my video. Comment, rate, and subscribe, and I'll catch you all later. And by the way, if there's anything you want me to correct in this video, please comment below on how I should improve. And that's it. Thank you all for watching. Bye.